Whether we give emphasis to the global will, the will to life, the will of the species, or the inborn will of the individual, once we attain the Schopenhauerian vision of the individual subject as a phenomenon whose inner essence is will, it must have an effect upon our conception of human action and thought. The self-conscious thinking self that I usually take myself to be is not the true origin of my bodily actions. Given my character and the course my experiences actually take, I could not have willed otherwise than I did on any particular occasion. On Schopenhauer's conception, in simply being a living thing, I am like a stream of water rushing ahead, its course shaped both by contingencies in its path and by tendencies towards movements inherent in its own nature. The stream has no control over its own inner nature or the direction it actually takes given what it meets. Although Schopenhauer deals with the question of free will in the world as will and representation, his most accessible discussion of it occurs in the essay on the freedom of the will. The essay tries to answer a specific question. Is it possible to prove the freedom of the human will from the evidence of self-consciousness? Schopenhauer's answer to that question is no. The main outline of the extended argument on the freedom of the will can be summarized as follows. Freedom of the individual human will must be distinguished from freedom of action, which is to say the ability to do X if one wills to do X. There is freedom of will only if occurrences of the individual's willing enjoy absence of all determination or necessity. An agent's self-consciousness can provide no answer to the question of whether the agent's acts of will are necessitated by a ground that determines them. But an objective account of the occurrence of acts of will shows that they must be grounded in causes that necessitate their occurrence. Hence, there is no freedom of the individual agent's will in this sense. No acts of will can be without a ground that necessitates them. This conclusion does not remove the sense one has of being responsible for one's deeds, which must be accounted for from a different standpoint.